Hey there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story. This is our third live for month in review, and goodness, I thought I had it all going, and I was talking to the air because I had not pushed the go live button. So I was talking to a friend and a subscriber yesterday, and I was telling her, you've got to get your camera going on your desktop. It's got to talk to your interface on your computer, and then that does a handshake over to YouTube. So hopefully I've got it going, and I still am not seeing a chat. So if someone could let me know they're here. Okay, I see Sheila. I can see the chat over here, but I can't see it. Can't see it over here. So, okay, I'll watch the chat over. Okay, there's Jillian. Okay, so I'm gonna get to toggle today between 3 screens instead of 2, but no worries. We're taking it all in stride. The only way to get your hat sometimes over the fence is to throw it and go get it. So we're just doing this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start here. This is my 2024 stories to tell, and I added, after our February project last month, I added Valentine's Day, and that is actually a project that I did for Tracy Reed. And so I'm making notes on my page as I go along. And I've also got Gojo, but I think I had him on there for last live stream. And then just a little recap. Here's our January month in review. I'm using sketch number 10 from the original Scrapbook Generation month in review bundle. There's a link to that in the description. Here's how February turned out. And I think after the live stream, I added this little rub on. So I've added one little element after each live stream, and that's okay. And let's see. I'm using the Simple Stories Noteworthy collection. I've got a planning video out there if you missed that, and I have a month in review playlist, which is sometimes helpful to some people. So hopefully that will be beneficial if you didn't catch everything beforehand. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. The bottom part of my layout is this wood grain, and I'm using Echo Park wood grain, and I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 4-inch strips. Is that right? Yep. So what are y'all working on today? Working on something? And have you started doing month in review yet? I'd be curious to know that. Okay, so we've got our 2 pieces of wood grain. Next up, we've got our pattern paper. I'm going to cut 4 4-inch squares out of this. And, ooh, that's the branding strip. Let me cut that off. Can y'all believe it's already February? Gosh, it is flying by already. Yay, Sheila, for March month in review. I had a lot of feedback saying people were interested in this and in working along, but I don't always know what's happening on the other side. So sometimes I can barely keep up with what I'm getting done over here. Okay, so then this is my other paper that I chose. And I'm going to have to show y'all something real quick because I just can't not see it. So this is an October afternoon layout that I did using Cakewalk, and this was released in 2012. And y'all look at this. This is Simple Stories Noteworthy from 2023. and it's pretty similar. I was really shocked. So at first I thought, what am I seeing? And then I thought, yeah, it's pretty close. There's Nancy. Jillian's printing pictures. So you print at home, Jillian? I love printing at home. Someone was asking in a Facebook group where you print, and I'm like, oh gosh, I could never think about going back to uploading anymore. Do y'all know how many times like my feed would glitch and I would all of a sudden not be able to finish my upload, or I would have to start over? It was so frustrating. So looking at my, okay, I need to do my washi. So this is a little trick that Janet at RTS shared that is a Vanessa Bell trick. Oh, let me get a different piece of paper. And you take this piece of cardstock and you just put your washi down on it. We're going to create one of these strips, but I like to show on each live how to do it in case someone isn't familiar with this or they haven't seen it. So we're just going to line this up as best we can. Anymore, I like to have a good contrast underneath me. And I get so spoiled working with my magnets that when I don't have them, I'm like, where's my extra set of hands? Hey, so was that the most boring Super Bowl last night or what? I'm sorry if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, you're probably thrilled. But I like a good competition, and I just didn't feel like that was one. Jillian, do you use the Epson PictureMate? That's what I use and love. They had the, I used the 400. They had the PictureMate Charm that was its predecessor, which I loved. And I just think you get so much versatility on your sizes, and the print color is just spectacular. Okay, so this is the one we'll actually end up using next month, but we've got it done. And what else do I need to cut? That's it. So now we can trim photos. I didn't even think a lot of the commercials were very good. Okay. So where are my pictures? I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I think I'll be okay. So here are my pictures. I pulled out these two pieces of chipboard, and I was just, when I was printing last night during the very boring Super Bowl, I laid them out on here. So this is kind of how they're going to go, and I can just go ahead and start trimming. And hopefully I'm not going to have the problem I had last month where I had the wrong size. So I'm going to have 3 that are 4x4 and 2 that are 3.5 by 3.5. And these are my short ones. Okay. And I use my little Creative Memories trimmer, which, you know, I was Creative Memories girl through and through for so long. And then I branched out, and I will say I did think they always had really good tools. So this is going to trim at 4x4. And so then my little trick to make sure all of my cuts are the same is my blade arm is down, my picture's all the way against it, and then I'm just bringing in this piece of low-tack mint tape up against it, and now I'll be able to make sure I get an even cut. Now, of course, the caveat is your first cut has to be relatively reasonable. And the Tim Holtz trimmer had a really good guide on it that kind of helped you get it right. But when I changed to this trimmer, I watched Dorothy Guinan at Scrapbooking Quebec channel use the low tack mint tape on her trimmer, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to do that. So those look pretty good. I'm shooting to get this one done in an hour today. I've been kind of watching my times, and the it helped. I think it always helps if you trim in the same direction. So in other words, I'm trimming the top first and then the bottom. These are not going to sit next to each other on the page, and so it doesn't matter a whole lot, except that I am doing what I call a wallpaper page, and so I do need my squares to be mostly even. Let's see. I've got 2 3x4s I need to trim. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these because I still have my marker at 4 inches. So I'm going to trim the tops and bottoms of these. I just try and do the same size of cuts at the same time so that I don't have to move the tape a whole lot. I didn't see the Budweiser commercial, I don't think. But of course you're a horse girl, so you would like that. And I wanted to say, Nancy, I saw you and I see that you're cleaning house, and you get the Girl Scout award today for, I'm sure there was a housekeeping badge. I didn't get many badges on my sash. You know why? I didn't like having to do stuff I didn't want to do. Some of them, I'll tell you what, I got the hobbyist badge. That was a little red treasure chest. I think I still have my badge somewhere. And somewhere in me, I have a Girl Scout layout to do. Okay, so now these are my 4-inch cuts. And then I can hop over to this. I'm going to eyeball this. Let me talk a little bit about my picture. So this is March. In Texas, spring break is big, and we start warming up pretty early. And so I've got a picture of me with the girls out on the patio, and I'm actually in a blanket. I'm very cold-natured, very cold-natured. And so, oh wait, no, this will be, yeah, 3.75. I have this pause every month when this happens. So the image is 3.5 on my printer, but then I keep the 0.25 margin. So that's what's throwing me off. Then this picture that I'm trimming right now is us meeting our Nashville son in Arkansas because they are headed to Tokyo for an extended trip, and we're going to dog sit their sweet little Gojo. And so that's Philip telling his boy goodbye before they fly out. And we don't have any grandkids, but we have grandparent names, Sugar and Pops. And so all of the dogs call us Sugar and Pops. And my son that is local, he says when his Frenchie's in the backyard and they need Maggie to come in and she won't, they'll say, do you want to go see Sugar and Pops? And she'll run in. I think that's cute. So this picture that I'm trimming now is Mom. So March 2024 is the year that Mom moved in with us. And that was kind of a big task, I'm not going to lie. And it involved a lot of trips between here and Tyler. So she's sitting there on her little bed, and she's all happy. The picture I'm trimming right now is Steve and I going out to eat at my absolute favorite place. I don't know if it's his or not. These are my Nashville kids that are on their plane. And they had planned kind of like our trip to the British Isles, they had planned this trip kind of it for 2020, and then they had to table it. So, okay, so I've got all my pictures trimmed. Here's my other 4x6. And where are my base pages? I'm not seeing any activity in the chat, and that's okay. Maybe there's not a lot to be said. And let's see. Here's my base pages. So I think the best order is to start at the top. And where is my, oh, this is going to be my first one. And my paper. I am enjoying planning these pages out and executing on them. So not a lot of this paper is going to show, and that's okay. That's how it goes sometimes. But you know, you've got 12 patterns in the collection, and you have to kind of use them all. So it's a very mild day here today. I think it's going to get up into the 70s. And so I have the dogs are out, and hopefully they're going to behave. I'm just looking to see real quick. Okay, so this goes on this page, and this one goes here. So the reason why I decided I wanted to do these live was so that we could kind of build a little bit of camaraderie doing it, and also so I could get it done and not have to worry about having a video to edit after the fact. Just trying to be more productive. So I had slotted this picture to go in this corner up here. And I will say, I usually pay a lot of attention to the direction of my photos. I'm okay with this photo being on the left side because Gojo is looking this way and Philip's looking at Gojo. So we're gonna be okay with this one being, Mother is really facing left, and so she has to go on the right. And it just worked out that she's wearing a pink shirt and I'm putting her on pink paper. She loves her little room. She does. She has, now this is actually showing it's off a little bit. This is what I was saying about I like to have a contrast. These sketches are great, but they do require a little bit of precision or you'll end up having gaps. Okay, that works. So Mom has, she's never had a wall-mounted TV in her bedroom, and she thinks she is in tall cotton. Let's see. This picture for the center, I have Steve. This is a very, very, very typical moment in our home. This man works so hard, and he manages a really big store, and he's always doing recaps and looking at his numbers at home. So I had this picture that I snapped of him, and I thought, well, for sure, this needs to be on the page. And then I just put this center picture on last so that I can make sure I manage any gaps on the paper. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come down to the bottom and get our wood grain on. Okay, I see you. Oh, thank you, Dollars, for saying don't forget to hit the thumbs up. That is helpful. I don't ever really say that a whole lot, but it does help. And these replays are getting a lot of traction, and I know that I'm getting subscribers from it too. So I see Jillian's doing Project Life on a monthly basis. I didn't see that earlier. And Zitrali. Now, is that, am I saying it right or wrong? I see you saying hi and welcome, but I know that not everyone's comfortable sharing names and information. No. Sorry about that. Okay, and I don't think it really matters. I haven't been particular about where these wood grains, the direction of them or anything. Oh, but I do remember they're like 1/32 of an inch short. So let me come over to this gutter on the right. And, you know, it's very common to have 12-inch paper that's not a full 12 inches. And so I always say if you'll put your even side to the inside, then you can trim on the outside. Okay, so we're moving along. I guess we can go ahead and put these pictures down. So this picture, we rented a U-Haul, so we had to downsize Mom's, what do you say, her household contents. So we split it up between me and, well, first of all, Mother decided what she wanted to keep and bring. And then we split up what was left between me and my 3 siblings. And so we went to Easter service on Saturday night, and Easter morning we got up and did something we'd never done before. We went and picked up a U-Haul and we drove 2.5 hours to pick up Mother's contents. So that's what this picture is. This picture is a lot more fun. This is celebrating my daughter-in-law's birthday. And I say in the journaling that she picked Chick-fil-A for her meal. You know, you always get to do your birthday picks. And so she picked Chick-fil-A for her meal. And then she wanted to listen to Aladdin music and play. I think we ended up playing a game. Okay. That's good. And just a little bitty bit of this stripe will go over here. So we can move on to this page. And the pictures. I have the dogs going up here. Yeah. Oh, good. Citrulli. Sounds Italian. Which, speaking of Italy, are you watching the Olympics? You know, when we were in Italy in the fall, I didn't really, of course, we weren't in Milan or Cortina, so I didn't really see any evidence of the Olympics coming. But when I watched a little bit of the opening ceremonies, and when they were talking about the torch passing by the Roman Colosseum, I thought, I've been there. I know where that is. All right. So now we've got this little piece of paper. And this is going to be the piece of paper that holds my little calendar. So I'm using the Simple Stories Noteworthy, but I have Simple Stories Hello Today, and that is the company that, that is the collection that has the calendar 3x4 cards that I use. Oh, and it just dawned on me, I didn't cut that down. Okay. All right. So this is good. I've got to think about now how I can get that calendar cut down. I guess I'm going to have to use the die machine, and y'all are going to have to hear it. I try to do all of the loud stuff beforehand. I know that people are really sensitive to noise, so. Okay, so then again, I'm going to come into the inside gutter over here, and I'll trim the outside. Once you get 2 or 3 months done on this month in review, it really starts to look cohesive. It starts to look like a project. Now over here, I can put us here, and I can split my 3x4s. I don't think I like that though. And then your other option is to do this. I try to spread us out. So this is us eating out. This is on our cruise. So we started the month on a ship. That's always a really nice way to start a month. I'm going to come in a little bit on this. I don't want to run this all the way to the edge because I know I'm going to trim it, and I don't want my white margin to be any less. So I'm going to, sometimes on your cuts, if they're not exact, you can, on your photos, you can overlap them a little. So I'll do that. Okay. So see how, like, these are not identical widths. So I'm going to lay this down on the edge, and then I'm going to lay this one on top. Last month, when I went to trim my little 3x4s, I had not printed them at the correct size, but I went ahead and rolled with it because the reality is no one's going to notice. See, I'll just kind of tilt this and flip it under. No one's going to notice when you go from one page to the next that it's not exact. Not even me. So then here, see, this is going to overlap a little bit, but it's okay. And then I'm just going to flip that up, tuck it under. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so look, it's coming together pretty quickly. Now, we've got our little stripe. So the Noteworthy collection doesn't have a stripe. And so what I did was I went to a sister collection, True Colors, and I pulled this piece of washi, this little roll of washi, and I'm putting this down with the strip up. There's a little kind of a tab on this washi, and I'm just trying to make sure that I am laying it down in the same direction every month. Again, no one would really notice if I didn't. Oh, bye, Darlis. Thanks for hopping on. And I always have these lives linked to a playlist, to the Month in Review playlist. And they kind of show up differently on my channel, but you can always find them easily by going to the Live tab or going to the Month in Review playlist. Okay. Now, what do we need to do? I did want to show you, this is the die set that I used, and I went ahead and I glued my March together. This is using the Simple Stories, Simple Vibes bubblegum cardstock, which coordinates with this collection. And I cut 3 white layers and I glued those together. And I picked these up on a Black Friday sale from Echo Park's website direct. And this is called Marker. It's like, you know, it's like as if you wrote it with a marker. So it's a January to June set, and then also a July to December. Okay, this is for next month. We don't need that. This is my big one. It's going to go right here. And here's my calendar. And here are my other circles. And I thought, I thought this one could go here. The next thing I'm going to need to do is go ahead and cut my journaling and attach it and then cut it at the same time. These are little CD cases I picked up off Amazon that just kind of corral everything. Let's see. I think the most challenging part of this exercise is selecting the colors, you know, the little circles that I'm going to use. And I shared in the planning video that I took a 6x8 pad and I just went to town with it and got everything cut up from that. So let's see this. Some of them have white toppers on them. And again, this is sketch number 10 from A Month in Review. Here's my little 3 that's going to go right there. I like to do little consistent elements to try and tie the page together, you know, as because you're making in essence an album. And so if you can just do some little consistent touches from one page to the next. I guess this one goes right here. Okay, so here's my journaling. I went out to Canva and I created a 5x7 document, and then I drew a 5-inch circle, and then I do text inside that. This is using Courier Prime, and I just manually space, you know, when I get to the end of the circle, then I just manually hit return. And so I think it worked out pretty good. Let me grab my mat, y'all. I'm sorry I didn't get that. I guess I got it and it's buried here somewhere because I don't see it. It's not in its usual little hiding place. But I have another mat I can use. You know, we've got to have our choices. So here's this Creative Memories template. And, you know, they come with the transparencies. That allow you to see, you know, where your cuts are going to be. Okay, so I just eyeball centering this up. I also cross all my fingers and toes when I do this. If I had a problem, you know, I could just reprint this after the live and attach it. Hopefully all those years of training. I was a consultant for 9 years. And I remember when this product released. And so they taught us, always make sure the outside moves. Okay. That's not great. You know what, though? It's going to be trimmed off. I don't have to worry. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and we're going to mat our journaling onto the larger circle, and then I can trim them together. I learned that the first month. I taped all my circles down, and then it was really hard to get them, to get the white on there consistently. There we go. Julie, tell me what collection you're using for your project life. And are you a traditional scrapper? I guess so, you're printing pictures, so you wouldn't be digital. Okay. Voila. And you can see I use this little unused area to do my 3 March cuts. I'm saving these offcuts. You never know if I need a smaller circle later. Okay. Let me get my white onto my other circles. Sheila, the cutest commercial I saw was an HEB commercial, and it was James Parson, the guy who played Sheldon on Big Bang. He was the voice of a baby, and that baby was wanting a tortilla. The mom was carrying the baby from the crib to the kitchen, put it in the high chair, and so James Parsons, I guess it's Jim, he's doing this little conversation in the baby's head the whole time about he wants a tortilla, he wants a tortilla. And then the end of the commercial was he goes, this looks like a really thin tortilla. It's coming my way. So he got his tortilla, and then he's like, I need something to put on it. It was really cute. In the planning video, especially I did a planning video for the February page. I go over the specific sizes of all of these circles. Because the sketch is paid content, I don't share the actual sketch. Okay. I think the next thing I need to do is the washi at the bottom, so that when I go to lay these circles down, they can bump up against it. No, they cover it. That's what they do. They cover it. So we're doing really good on time, though. Not even 45 minutes in. I'm excited. I like it when something really starts becoming familiar and you can get a little faster at it. So I made the decision to make this second piece of washi a little more difficult for me because I wanted it to be a different width than this stripe. And so I want only 2 rows of the words to appear. So I'm kind of having to eyeball this, and I want to be able to see this edge. So I'm going to use some magnets to kind of bump these together. I need to move up a little bit, I think. Yeah. Okay, so you can see, and then I've got this. Oh, let me move this up a little bit. So let's see if I can get this done. Hi, Sophie. You want back in your chair, don't you? I don't think I can do that right now, baby. So if you're new to my channel, I have 2 Frenchies, and they completely run my life. This looks good, so I'm going to just peel that off, and I'll trim this in my trimmer. So now let's do the other one. But I love my dogs. I wouldn't have it any other way. They're not, so Sophie weighs 30 pounds, and she is not a jumper. Now, I had a Westie, a terrier, for a while, and he was very agile. Of course, those West Highland Terriers they're working dogs, and he he very nimble. He could jump up everywhere. So I have a dog bed here to my left, and they can both fit on it, but Sophie's my little diva, and she likes me to put her up in this chair I have in my room. I have a room tour on my channel if you've not ever seen it. Okay, so this worked really well this month. Third time's the charm. And fiddle faddle. Let me trim it real quick. I'll be back. I'm not going to bring my big trimmer back over. I know it's not good form to be having a blank desktop, but sorry about that. Okay. Bye, Jillian. Ah, take note. I looked at that, but it just didn't. I'm slow to come around on some of these things. So it just didn't really resonate with me. But I reserve the right to change my mind on it later, of course. And I have, for the record, queued up to use on a couple of years. So when we decided that we would go at double speed on 2024, then that means I can do another year. And I did a recent video about purging some of the years that the boys were still here, living at home. And the pictures that I ended up purging were, for the most part, pictures that would work really well for month in review. So now I'm kind of thinking, I've done month in review for 2014, 2015. Sorry, I just hit the camera. 2021, and this is 2024. So I think what I'm going to do is hop back to maybe 2016 after I finish this 2024, and then they'll be spread out. The collection, I'm going to use the same collection, just use it up, and I think I'm ready to take down. So this one goes down first. Oh, my mom is doing laundry. I'm so proud of her. I've been asking her to do it since Thursday. I had my annual physical today, and my mom goes to my same doctor, and my doctor said, "How's your mom?" And I said, "Well," I said, "in a lot of ways, it's like having a 7-year-old boy." Oh, okay. So this can go, well, I want there to be less. Oh, Sophie, I'm sorry. I just can't do it, baby. I'm going to cut a little bit more off of this. So between the dogs and my mom, it's never a dull moment around here. Okay, so this can go right here. And I ended up cutting it a little shorter because I want less hanging off over here. Okay, and then this overlaps. Sophie, you're showing everybody how absolutely spoiled rotten you are. Let's see, this comes up right here. Come here. Come here. Hurry, come here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, then this one, it comes all the way to the edge almost, and it tucks under here. And for these, I don't do this, you know, exact. I just kind of eyeball it. All right. But I'm not going to mind using this for 2016 again because I have really fallen in love with this collection. It initially felt a lot like office supplies to me. This goes underneath. Yep, just like that. Some of these circles I cut with the My Favorite Things Pure Circle stacks, like this one and this one, and then a small one that'll go on the right page. And I like having that done for me so I don't feel like I have to stitch. The sketch does show stitching on these circles, and I'm just not, you know, I'm just not into that for month in review. Let's see. There we go. Then I've got, this one goes over here. I was thinking yesterday, I'm really enjoying this sketch. Some of my month in review projects are like a feature page over here and then wallpaper over here. And I'm enjoying that this design spans more of, you know, it's a double page spread versus just being a single page with a bunch of pictures. So when I get ready to look for my next sketch for 2016, I think I want to stay in this family of sketches that feel like a double. I think that's okay. Okay. Then I've got one that goes over here. It's this one. And let me cut it off. I'm going to leave a little bit of this green on for definition. Let's see. This tucks under right there. And there we go. And then I need just a little tiny strip of a stripe. This is just barely going to show. But it's going to be a little bit of continuity from the left to the right. Let's see. There we go. Let me trim that up. Okay. That looks good. I've got one circle that should go here. And it's this one, which means I'm missing one for the other side. But we'll figure it out. I know what it's supposed to be. I just don't know where it is. It wasn't in the little pouch. I could have put it up. We went to Disney at the end of January, and I pulled, oh, that's really cute. I pulled all of these circles before. I actually pulled the circles the day after I did February, because I thought, you know what, it's all out right now. Just make yourself do it. And I did. Okay, so this, I have these going to the edge of the page and they'll come off. Let me get these up here. Sorry about my arm. And this pink is what goes on the edge over here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just not let much of it bump over. Well, I can do it if I have to. If based on how it looks, you may have to put a little piece of it over on the left. And I try and avoid that. But it kind of looks nice with it doing that. So Sheila, how many pictures do you have for your March month in review? I have 10 this month. The first month, I think I had, 8. I had 9. And then last month, I had a bunch. Last month, I had 12. But I like having the ability to flex the photos based on, you know, what all you got done that month. Not every month, especially now, you know, not every month is spectacular. Some months are kind of ho-hum. So seven's my favorite number. Whenever we're at Disney and they send us to, you know, they're queuing us for a ride and they send us to lane number 7, I get excited. I take a picture with my feet on it. Just a little piece of trivia for you. Okay, and then this little yellow goes here. I'm just hardly in frame. Let me scoot up a little. There we go. Then this one goes, oh, I've got to cut it. I'm just going to eyeball the cut. I had a little bit of adhesive on that one, so it's sticking to my trimmer. Okay, and then this is the third one that I cut with the pierced stacks. And honestly, this little white floral is one of my favorite papers in the collection. Okay. after I finish this live stream, I've got a video for tomorrow to edit, and it's a pear tree cut file, and it's a vintage childhood photo, and I'm excited about that. And then after I finish that, I've got stitching to do on a layout that I started on Saturday night late. I wanted to start it. And so then I worked on it some yesterday also. Let's see. On the placement. Just kind of thinking like this. We'll go like this. I love this little paper too. Are you using a different sketch this month, Sheila? Because for January you did one sketch and February you did another. Okay. Now I show that I need 2 more circles and I don't have any on my desk, which means they've gone missing. I don't see anything on the floor. I'm gonna put my foam on this 3 and think about what to do about missing circles. I got a notice this morning that Shamel was going live, and she does that quite often, and goodness, she's been in the limelight for decades, and I always think when I watch her lives that she's so relaxed, and I'm so jealous. Okay, isn't that cute? I love the little numbers. Okay, so nothing's on this and nothing's on this. I can go ahead and trim this off. Now, if I had it over here, would it show? It would. And so that's the little tiny fiddly piece that I'll attach after. Well, you know what? I can do it. I can do hard things. Let me get this out of the way. I can do it, but I'm probably going to have to stand up to do it. Okay. I have these little tweezers. They're Pink Fresh. I think I got them. For a card event. I didn't get them as part of a card event. They were not a gift. But they're those reverse tweezers, which I really like. Okay, that looks pretty good. And what I need to do now is trim this off, and then I think we'll be set. Yep. This washi is kind of bent up. It's very malleable. Okay, that's all good. Missing 2 circles. I have no idea where they are. But we also have this guy to do. I had pulled this typewriter and I wanted to put it down here, but you know what? We're gonna do it, and if it doesn't look good, then we're gonna cover it up. My concern is bridging the gap from the pattern paper to the wood grain. But I think I'll be okay. And like I said, if it goes bad, we can just throw a flower cluster down there. Okay. So this is an old basic gray tool. they were, to my way of thinking, kind of the leaders in rub-ons back in the day. And they had all of their collections had rub-ons that came with them. And so accordingly, they sold this tool. And, you know, Basic Gray also rolled out the stitching. And so my paper piercer for my stitching holes and my mat are Basic Gray. So they are long gone, but tools stay with you. Of course, I still have Basic Gray paper. I can't make myself use it. Maybe that's, I think my plate is full for 2026, but maybe in 2027, I could focus on stash busting Basic Gray. Flawless. Oh, it's so cute. Sometimes it's fun to take a risk. So then you take the thing that it, the backer piece of paper, and then you burnish it. So I learned that long ago, and I love how that looks. Okay, so I decided for every month I'm using a phone title because, you know, if you have the stuff, use it. And for January, I did that hello. And then for February, I did noteworthy, and those were multicolor. So I thought that I needed to do a solid color to kind of break it up. And I've been putting my month right here. So I can go ahead and put this down. I don't mind that it covers up a little bit of Steve's arm. And I have shared before that these foam stickers don't play. Once you start putting them down somewhere, they're moving in. That is where they're going. Let's see if I can get glue on this little march. I'm trying to buy time before I deal with the missing circles, in case you hadn't noticed. Okay. I love the My Sweet Petunia Precision Glue Press. I never thought I needed it, and then I saw it used on a card class. One of the instructors had it, and I'm a tool girl. I have them. I love them. So I went with the bubble gum because March is springy, and I wanted to bring in a different color. Okay. So we have to deal with this. I need to die cut that. And then we need to deal with the circles. Okay. So this is my pouch of all of my pre-cut circles. And I'm looking for this is complete. I'm missing 2 here. And it's a 1 inch and a 1 1/4. Okay. When I laid out all these little circles, Kathleen, you don't have to close the glue. I don't close it. So how it works, you can see there's like glue down there. You could clean that if you wanted, but here's how it works. The glue nozzle rests against this little rubbery cup, and if you haven't used it in a while, you'll have what, you know, I call a glue booger, and you'll have to peel that off. But that's the beauty of it. So I used this about 9 o'clock this morning to glue the little march together, and I didn't touch it until I used it just now to glue it down, and I didn't have to unstop it. Oh, here's one of my missing circles. It was on the bottom of that glue press. That's funny. Okay, so this is the 1 inch, And it's going to go right there. I'm sure when I'm doing cleanup later, the other one will appear. That's straight. So then the 1 1/4, I had picked out to use the text. And hopefully I've got one in here. It's not looking good. Which means it definitely is flying loose somewhere. Okay, so my option is to use a reverse side and have the beveled edge show, or to put it on later. My third option would be to use a smaller one. This is a better... I'm going to just turn one over and use it. My other option, I was going to say, I didn't finish the thought, was I could use a 1 inch. But not the end of the world. And I have extras of all of these that I can... on the small ones, I cut more than I needed because I wanted to have choices. So let me just trim this real quick. And we can tape it down. And then our circle crisis will be averted. For all I know, it could be stuck to my pants. And under a page protector, it's not really going to be evident that this is the back side of a die. Unless I told you and you're looking, you know, to prove it. Okay. It's important for me to tell myself things like that because I can get hung up on perfectionism. Okay. Just slightly crooked. And if I want to hide this edge, I can put a sticker down on top of it. So it's just paper. We're doing good. It's just paper. Okay, so here's my die. It's a My Favorite Things 3x4 notebook die. And I'm going to have to do this. And I think it's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. So you don't have a lot of extra give. And I don't have multiples of these. So for something that has to be precise, I'll do a tape. And it's going to make noise when I run it through, and I'm sorry. Hopefully it's not terrible. Okay. But the reveal is always so much fun. I think that's one thing that has really changed about my scrapbooking from, say, 30 years ago or even 20 years ago, is using dies on my pages. Okay. So then this has been kind of coming down, I think, on my pages. And we're putting it up on foam. So we're going to put this down, and then we're going to pick our embellishments, and then it's going to be a wrap. I didn't make my goal of doing it in an hour. It's okay. All right. So this is centered up. I put it on. I want that little notebook ruled line to show. Okay. So now we can pick some embellishments. I always got a little controlled chaos going on out of frame. All right. So I've been using a piece of chipboard. And generally on this, so this is kind of a big item. So, oh, this is where I really am not proficient. What if we go with this? So I would need to make it work. I'm just going to lay that down there and see if I can find something to tie it all together. I don't see a lot of other choices that I like. Oh, look, we could repeat the stamp. Oh, I'm so glad it landed sticky side up. So we could do that right there. Okay. And I don't know, I'll put those there in case I want to get more of them. What else do we have? We have the sticker sheet. So I could use the eyeglasses and I could kind of tie that together with the stamp. That today, I'm gonna stick with the chipboard. Oh, I love the pencils. And the planner is cute. I'll save those to use together. This repeats that, but I don't think we need to do that. Okay. And then we have our die cuts. So these are where I'm getting the numbers. Let me scoop these up. I'm still in frame. Okay. This might work underneath that, or the noteworthy clipboard. Just kind of looking for something that's an anchor. Kind of big, but I like it. Photo corners is cute, but it's pink just like that. So really, I don't need anything pink. Well, I need something for over here. That for the record is cute. And then I could do Brad's there. I think that takes care of that. Here's this really pink. Here's the red. No. Here's the green. Here's that again. That might work over here. I think on, I know this is a terrible noise, y'all. I'm sorry. Maybe. That's a maybe. Okay. Then let's see what we've got in the way of flowers. I'm looking for smaller ones. And then here's the yellow. A little push pin might be fun. Okay. Now let's come back to the stickers. I'm not really loving that, actually. Too big. I don't see that working. Okay, so let's come back to this. And the eyeglasses called out to me. That's kind of cute. What do y'all think? Thank you, Kathleen, for saying that. I just know that people are sensitive to noise, and I know when I'm editing, anytime I work with plastic, it has a really bad clatter. So usually I'll edit that out for y'all. Okay. I think that's pretty cute. Okay, that works, that works. So over to my right, I'm looking at my prior month because I just like for there to be some consistency. So here's the sticker book because, you know, I bought all the things and I'm just seeing if there's anything in here that would be beneficial. That pencil's so cute. You know what? Let's get that pencil and put it on that clipboard, and then I think we'll be set. Ta-da! It's so tiny. That's okay. We're going to make it work. I'm going to park it right there. Use 417 for my magnets. Let's see if there's anything else. Smaller flowers. That's not a bad one. The problem is I think with the typewriter over here, I've been putting flowers over here, but I don't think I will this month because I've got a lot going on already. I've got flowers here, flowers there. I think I'm okay. I don't think I have to force a floral cluster on the left page. And then does it just repeat? Nope. Those binder clips are cute. But we're going to put the pencil down. I think we're good here. Let's go ahead. We can start taping this stuff down. Glasses are so cute. I agree. I mean, they're cute on a page. I got a pair of glasses in the 2nd grade to wear, and so of course all through school I was called Four Eyes. The 60s were so mean. The 60s and the 70s. I shared in a recent video, I can't remember which one, but I've had people comment about the dentist, and someone commented, so I shared that I was slapped as a child, and someone commented that they were as well. And it's just, I was thinking about that, you know, was that like a trained tactic they were told in dental school? You know, if all else fails, just hit them. I don't know. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I think for this guy, I'm going to use this. So I have foam in all the sizes. The rolls I get from scrapbook.com. The squares I get on Amazon. And when I do an order on scrapbook.com, I wait for them to be on sale, and I wait for there to be a coupon code, and then I stock up so that I don't have to pay for that shipping again. I don't like to pay for shipping. I understand it. I love not having to get out of my house. So I know it's a classic conundrum. Does anybody have any big plans for February? We are home the rest of the month, and we are home almost all of March, and at the end of March we head out for another big trip. Okay, I don't see, maybe someone remind me to come back maybe and get one of these phrases. Well, I want to get this down. Okay, so we're going to put this guy up on foam. I was working on a layered title last night with 3 or 4 different layers of foam. Oh, and I say in the video that I think I had more fun making the title than I did the event for which I was recording on the layout. Okay, now it would have been ideal if I could have tucked that under the documented, but I can't. I want as much of that adorable little typewriter to show as possible. And then I am going to put this on foam also. You know why? Because I find sometimes the chipboard doesn't stick. And so if I do this thin 1mm foam, then I get a twofer. I get adhesive security, and I get that little pop that I love. Oh, Kathleen, I'm so glad you got your matte converted to magnetic. I'm telling you, I thought long and hard about, you know, treating myself to it. And the main reason why I felt like I could was because I had been given birthday money, and I'm telling you, I think it's made me a faster scrapbooker. And I know y'all might be thinking like, oh my gosh, how slow was she before? But just the ability for things to be held for me and to be stable. Let's see. Like, here you are trying to put adhesive on this little pencil. Right there. Yeah, that works. Okay. I'm glad that you made that change. I'm always one, and Sheila can testify to this, I'm always one to consider improving your space, because I think so many times we've got something going on in our space that makes what we do hard or unenjoyable. And so I'm always for troubleshooting or making improvements. Gosh, I can't get this backer off. Okay, there's one. Okay, so let's think ahead a little bit. Let me look at my calendar real quick so I can tell y'all the next date. It's 2 weeks from today, and that's going to be the 23rd. So the link will go up on May, not too soon, because I think the links can get old. Oh goodness. But I'll be back 2 weeks from today on the 23rd, and we'll move on to April 2024. I shared in the planning video, I have a photo album. Oh, that is everything. How cute is that? What a fun hobby. Okay. I'm going to go with this Life is Lovely. It gets that deep green in. Yes, that's going to be perfect. Okay. And then I think this will be our final touch. I talked about the next date. This will be available on replay if you didn't catch all of it. I talked about the playlist. Let's see. I think that's everything. If you've been here scrapping along with me, I want to thank you for that. And as Darla said, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please don't hit the thumbs down. I have some thumbs down on videos, and I'm like, well, maybe they just fat fingered. Maybe they were trying to do thumbs up. It's demoralizing, but it's okay. I mean, everybody gets to have their opinion. But I'm just, telling myself they meant to hit the thumbs up. So I am helping Sheila redo her room. So I'll tell a little bit on Sheila to keep her from having to type. She has the cutest little house, and she has a bedroom that's devoted to her scrapbook room, and she wasn't happy in there. She's got dogs, and she loves her open concept living area, and so she was always hauling her stuff to her breakfast nook. And finally, at the end of last year, I was like, have you ever thought about taking your formal dining room and swapping what's in there now with your scrapbook space? And, when somebody gives you a new idea, we're like, oh, I don't know. But she thought about it, and she decided that she would do it. And so, okay, that's on there straight. And so she's maybe about 75 or 80% done with the flip. Oh, we got to do something up there. Where's that little space bar? There we go. That's what we call improvising. It'll tie to the stuff on the left, and we don't care if we cover up some of the numbers. It's not the real month anyway. It's just imagery. And now I want something that can come up out of that. That on the daily is cute, but I want something. A paperclip on a keyboard doesn't make any sense. And that is my life. Okay, let's see. Just something small. A binder clip would work. Let's go to that binder clip page. Oh, yeah. What color? I think we should do the pink. I could also do this wax seal, but let's do the binder clip. Yes. Okay. And then I think we're going to be done. Okay. So I've got fun things planned for the rest of the month. Honestly, February content is pretty much planned out, and most of it is already executed on. And I'm working hard and fast because when I'm out of town, I like to leave y'all with content. So it's always a mad dash, and it's fun. It gives me a little zip in my step. So I appreciate you being here. I hope that these lives are helping you get things done. I hope that they're inspiring you, because that's the goal. Okay? So this guy is going to go right there. And I think that we are finished. That hopped up a little. We'll have to peel that off and fix it. I'll do it after the live. Okay, so I hope that you have had some fun on your desk while I have had fun creating this. I am probably going to go to my real brads, and I'm going to cut the backs off, and then I'm going to glue them right here because I think that would be really cute. And I think as I look at my other months, I think I've got some consistency going. I think it's cohesive, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so thank you, Sheila. I'm glad that it's helping you get yours done. So thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. I am going to wrap this up and move on to the next project. I appreciate you being here so much. It's fun to work together on things and have a little fun together, I guess. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for joining in. I hope you had fun.